Yeah, we're ready. Whenever you are. We're filming.
Okay.
Like a movie star.
Good. You are.
Dian.
Dian. Do you want to be referred to as Dian?
As Dian, yeah.
Dian, okay.
I just feel more like a Dian.
Okay. So, it's also like I'm feeling nervous a little bit because I've never done this before on camera.
Me too. I've never died before.
Oh, this is great. So I just want to set some ground rules, meaning that I would ask any questions, but if you are uncomfortable with any question, you can either share impact, like I don't feel comfortable with this question, or it's too emotional for me to hear this question, or I just don't want to answer this question. And we can also stop this at any moment, so there is no obligation. You can opt out from this, and I want this to be, first of all, safe for you. Like, if this happens, it's amazing, but I want you to feel comfortable, and I want you to feel safe, and I want you to be in it by wanting to be in it and not feeling obliged being in it. And I think I want to share some context because you and I have more context than people who's going to be watching us. I met Dian because Dian wanted to attend the death workshop, the Gifts of Mortality workshop, and this is how I learned that you are at your end of life.
Yes.
And maybe very briefly, it would be nice to share the context of how far you are at your end of life, when you were diagnosed, how much do you have left of your life, or what you know of.
Right. Okay, so 9 months ago, I went to the emergency room for my sciatic nerve. I was in awful pain. Went to the emergency room for that. The doctor ran extra tests. Comes back and was like, I don't know if you know, but you have advanced cirrhosis of the liver. And I was, so when she said it, I was really calm about it. You know, I was like, okay, well, I didn't know, but you know, okay, whatever. But that's not what I'm complaining about. You know what I mean? I was like trying to dismiss it. But she's like, I don't think you understand. It's advanced cirrhosis of the liver. She's like, you need to see a doctor, your doctor, like as soon as you possibly can. So meanwhile, I was one night, I was feeling like just nauseous like all day. And I threw up like a whole bucket of blood that night. I mean, it was like one of these buckets, and it was like we had to dump it, and I was still throwing up. So finally in the morning, the blood started to turn red, and so I was like, maybe I should go to the emergency room now, you know?
Did it scare you that you saw so much of blood coming up and you were throwing up?
Yeah, but I was I was so tired. and until it turned to red, like red blood in the morning, that's when I was like, okay, well, I think it's time. I was bleeding. They did surgery to stop it. I woke up in the hospital bed, and with all of these doctors around me telling me that I needed a liver transplant if I wanted to survive. And so then my daughter flew in, and she was asking the doctor, but then the doctor told her that I was, without a liver transplant, I was looking at like maybe 2 years, 2 to 5 years is what he gave me. I don't want a liver transplant because they said it was a 20% chance that I might die on the operating table. And to me, I don't know if it's because I'm a control freak and I just want to control my own death. If I want to die on my terms, kind of thing, you know. I don't want to die asleep on the operating table, not knowing I'm dying. You know, so I don't want a liver transplant. I don't feel like I need one. Even though I do have stage 3 and it goes up to stage 5. And I don't have very long to live. But I think I would rather take my chances and die, like I think I had mentioned, like swimming with sharks, or like just, I picture myself just drowning, or I just think that would be peaceful.
You've shared now that you don't want to, like, you want to be present and conscious during your dying, and for
Right.
you dying on the operating table, which is 20% chance, is not something you want to go through. And yet
Right.
still I'm curious, like with a lot of people who are like, oh, okay, we're ready for anything, to just have a little bit more time. Why do you think it's different for you, apart from this not wanting to die on the operating table? Is there something else to it?
Like I said, I don't know if it's a control thing. I don't think it is, because I don't feel like I'm a controlling person at all. But I think it's more of an acceptance, and I'm not afraid to die. Like, I definitely don't want to die without knowing I'm dying. You know, like,
Yeah, and I also imagine there are two different deaths of going into the operation knowing that 1 out of 5 chances that you're not going to go out of it, and actually not knowing, do I say all my goodbyes for the last time with everyone right now, and then I come back out and it's weird because I didn't die.
right. And I'm always like driving and getting lost in the jungle, you know, or just, and I'm excited about it. Like, yeah, I'm lost and it's pitch black and they're dirt roads, and my phone doesn't work, which was just like 3 nights ago. But to me, it's like an adventure. And I ended up in some international meditation center, which was really cool, you know? Like, my adventure ended successfully. I think every adventure ends successfully, though. It's an adventure.
Do you see death and dying as an adventure?
Exactly. Like, I'm going to know things that nobody else knows. Well, nobody alive still. You know, like, that's going to be for me to find out. And like I told my daughter, you know, I'll try to send you signs or something, you know what I mean? Like, just to give you a little insight as to like what comes after. I know what I believe comes after, but nobody knows. So it is like the ultimate adventure.
The death workshop, as far as I remember, you mentioned that you've got around a year-ish of life left.
Yeah.
What's that like, to be at the end of your life knowing that you've got around a year left? How is that experience like?
See, I don't know. I think everybody is different. And
What's that like for you?
but for me, maybe it's a little bit of denial, you know, because I'm letting in as much as I can handle. Like when my dad died, you know, it was just as much as I could handle, you know, like that's what I would let in. And so with me, I think that I don't know if I'm not fully facing the fact that my life is changing. I don't even want to say like ending, or because I don't believe I think my soul is definitely my soul has so many more lessons to learn. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way that my soul would just give up trying to learn how to live like an ideal human being halfway through. You know what I mean?
I've never been in this position, even though I know I'm gonna die, but I've never been this close to death. So like, I'm curious if you think about it often,
I think, well, at your workshop proved, I think about it as much as anyone else does, like not more. I think that if I was to think about it more, I might dwell on it, and then the darkness might set in, and I don't feel any darkness in me. I have regrets, you know, of course I do.
what kind of regrets do you have?
I have regrets, you know, I think like I had plans, I was going to be this perfect mother when I had kids. And I started out, you know what I mean? And then I got like lazy with my second kid, and I wasn't perfect, you know, but I don't think any mother is really. Like, we do the best we can with whatever we have, and I'm having a hard time accepting that, even though I say it all the time, and it pertains to my mom, but it doesn't really pertain to me, because I still feel like, God, I could have done more for my kids. I could have left them more. I could have left a legacy, like, and maybe that gets to my emotions a little bit is the what is my legacy? Like, what you mean? I wanted to write a book my whole life and I never wrote it. Like, is it? I mean, who knows? Maybe if I start writing a book, I'll live until I finish the book. You know what I mean? Like, nobody knows. Like, how I could outlive all of you guys. I could be the last woman on earth. We don't know. I have an 11-year-old granddaughter, and I just talked to her last night on video chat, and so she's 11 and she's big, but her and I were like two peas in a pod. Like, I don't know who's more mature. She thinks she's more mature than I am, which she's probably right. She definitely acts more mature than me, but she doesn't know that I'm dying. We haven't told her yet, but she knows that, like, I wasn't feeling well. She doesn't know she doesn't know the difference between, like, my back hurting me or a disease or, you know, like an illness. I mean, not disease, but she doesn't really know the difference, you know, so she's just like, wow, you can walk now, Grammy? And I was like, yeah, my back doesn't hurt that much anymore. And but I was like, but I'm going to stay in Thailand for, you know, a couple more months or whatever. Like, are you okay with that? Are you okay if I'm gone for another couple months, you know, that you're not going to see me? And she's like, well, what about Christmas? You know, she's asking me all these things. And when I think about Christmas, I'm like, okay, so we're not sure I'm going to make it past this Christmas, but, you know, that goes without saying.
Why did you choose to not tell your granddaughter?
Her mom.
Mom.
Because it's my son's daughter, and her mom hasn't found the right time yet. Like, we all want to be there, you know, like, to tell her. And so she said, you know, she's like, I just want you to be better, Grammy. And that, like,
it must be very hard to hear.
Yeah. And it would be harder, like, if my daughter was going to have kids. She says that she's not, but I think if she was planning a family, like, it would be a lot harder for me.
So this is about...
It's about other people.
Sounds like regretting not seeing how they're going to age, how their life is going to transform. And
it's more like not me missing out on their lives. It's more like them having to deal with, like, God, you know, I wish my mom was here. Or, like, my granddaughter in 10 years being like, why did Grammy die again? You know what I mean? Like, something like that. Or my son, because he is so distant. I'm lucky if he returns my phone calls, you know. Is he going to have to deal with a lot of regret? Like, God, like, why didn't I take my mom's death, her impending or upcoming or whatever death, more serious and, like, and actually let my mom know, like, hey, I love you, and, like, you know, I like you. And I just hope he doesn't have, like, issues, maybe, like, future issues with women or something if I die and I'm not there to tell him, you know, like don't be a jerk, or you know what I mean, like things like that.
That you want to hear from him? I like you. Does he know that?
Not in those exact words, but I mean, I reach out to him constantly. And like I said, I'm lucky if I get a phone call or a text back, you know. Yeah, and I want to hear from him, like I heard from my daughter, like when she called me out of the blue and she was just like, Mom, I forgive you. And I didn't even have to ask her, like, what for. I just knew that she just meant as a type of unconditional love, I forgive you. And I love you unconditionally. And it would be nice to hear that from my son, you know what I mean? Even if he doesn't mean forgive, at least if he could just mean love. Because how much I love him, you know?
Yeah, so it sounds like towards the end of your life, there are the most meaningful things that come up are the relationships with people around you, with your beloved ones, and things that you're thinking about, actually how to make peace with them, and the forgiveness that you want to give and receive, and some things that you really want to hear. And also I hear that it's hard that you're not talking with your son about your death, and that you wish that he, as you say, would be more serious about your death, or more open and things like this. But I liked what you said in the beginning, that you are about your own death, intaking as much as you can intake right now. And it does sound that this is his capacity. I don't know your story.
That's what I tell myself too, is that he's handling it the best that he can with what he has, just like a parent would.
It doesn't mean that it doesn't make you feel things that he's handling it this way. I'm curious, like I know from my clients and from the whole work that I do, that for people it's usually very hard to be around someone who's dying, because they don't know what to do, what to say, how not to hurt, and then it becomes this all tiptoeing and special treatment and like trying to avoid the topic and just all this dance, which makes the whole thing pretty awkward.
Yeah.
Like, what's the most ridiculous thing people asked you or told you once they've learned that you were dying, that you were at your end of life?
Everybody always likes to tell me, oh, it's going to be okay. You'll get better. You'll get better.
This is the most that you hear.
Yeah.
And what's that like to hear that when you share something like
I kind of want to like put him in a headlock and just like wrestle some sense into them. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I just give you my whole spiel. I have advanced cirrhosis of the liver. It's not going to repair itself. It's stage 3. It's you know, like all of these things, and then they're like, oh yeah, but you know, if you just go to your doctor's appointments and this and that, you know, you'll be fine. And I want to tell them, oh yeah, I will be fine. You mean I will? I know I will. Like, my favorite saying is that everything will be okay in the end. Because if it's not okay, it's not the end. So I know I'm going to be fine in the end. But I just think most people are in denial about dealing with death. Like,
what would you want to hear when you share that you are dying and you're at your end of life? How would you want people to respond?
I would want, if someone asks me, you know, like about it, I would want them to ask me because they're actually interested. Not just like, oh, and give me that cliche, you know.
Oh, I'm so sorry, you can tell.
Yeah. Like, don't be sorry. Like, you have no idea how I feel.
So you want to be asked in about how you feel and
right.
What's that like you actually want to talk about it.
Yeah, like, oh, you know, how, like, if I tell someone I'm dying, like, oh, like, how are you dealing with it? Or questions like that, you know, like, that don't patronize me. You know what I mean? Like, they aren't gonna be like, oh, you know, like, they're just listening just to respond instead of to understand, and like, don't even ask me then. Worry about your own damn self.
So when they say, no, that's okay. That's okay. Cursing is allowed in here.
Okay.
So it seems like all the answers, like, oh, it's going to be okay, you can go to your doctor, it's like irritating and even angering at some point.
It's not really angering, because, you know, like, yeah, they're saying what they were taught to say. They're saying what they're comfortable with, which is life. They're definitely not comfortable with death. I'm lucky that even before I found out I was going to die, like, me and my kids, we already have like our death songs that we want played at our funeral. You know what I mean? Like, we've been talking about death since they were young.
What's can you give me an example of one of the songs in your funeral? Is it a funeral playlist or before the...
I have a funeral playlist. I have a lot of songs. But I've always wanted Free Bird by Leonard Skinner.
Oh, I don't know that one.
No, and my son wants this song, Sail Away.
Sail Away, oh, I love that one.
And my daughter wants another one, Bites the Dust, from Queen.
So you did talk about death and dying even before you've been dying.
Yes, like for
so,
a long time now.
To sum it up, it seems like it's nice when there is space created to actually talk about what's happening with you rather than avoid it or try to convince you that everything is going to be okay.
Right.
And my assumption is that people do it, like people make it about them, or like I'm uncomfortable, I'm not ready to step in this space, I don't know what to say, I'm afraid of hurt, when it's about you because you're dying.
Yeah,
and they're like,
that's my day.
Yeah. And it's like, I want to talk about it, I want to create space for it, and I want to have a conversation because it's a big part of your life, I guess, what's going on with you right now.
Right.
And what do you want people to know about someone who's dying? Like, how do you want to be treated yourself around this time?
I think that if people would realize like that we're not supposed to treat others the way that we want to be treated. We're supposed to treat them the way that they want to be treated. You know what I mean? Like, and so if people that know me were to treat me the way that I want to be treated, they would be like my daughter and make jokes about my funeral costing how much it's going to cost and stuff like that, you know, just because I am really lighthearted and I do have a dark sense of humor, and I'm not afraid of dying.
Not at all?
I don't think so. Before your workshop, okay, I was afraid of how other people were going to deal with my death. And I think when we did that, you know, we found out like that's what most people are worried about, is how their loved ones are gonna, you know, like react, or how they're gonna live without them. You know, like how are my people gonna live without me? Like, cause
how's their grief journey?
Yeah, so I'm worried about them. But then after your workshop, I realized like that I kind of felt a little bit arrogant thinking that way. Like here I'm like putting that on them, like that I'm that important to them. You know what I mean? I'm like, so I kind of felt a little arrogant saying that out loud. And then right as I was leaving, after talking to my daughter after your workshop, I think I realized the best thing ever is that what my daughter, what my son, what my granddaughter, what my mother, what everyone does after my death or with my death, that's not, that I can't control that. That's not part of my journey. My journey is to be the best dying person I could be. You know?
The best dying person I can be. I love that.
But so, and their journey is theirs. And you know, and I'm putting myself onto them, which is exactly what I'm saying that I don't want people to do to me.
That sounds very liberating.
It was. Oh my God, when I left after your workshop, oh my gosh, I felt like I did feel lighter. I was hungry. I felt lighter. I was like, I changed my name after that.
Yes, it's a new chapter in a way. So
it's a new, like we are toward the end of the book, but there's still new chapters to be read, you know.
There's still pages.
There's still pages.
There's
yeah.
Still adventures. There's still conversations.
And then we got the appendix, and then like just whatever, maybe a sequel. I don't know.
Yeah, I see the end of life as the end of the book, but to me, from what I witness, it really seems like people try to just go through this because it's so comfortable, or just rip it off the last chapter, and I see it as beautiful as the rest of the life. Can be scary and painful and challenging, but there are so many things that are happening in there, and it's so weird that we cherish the beginning of life so much, and we make books about it, and we make pictures and all the stories of how it's developing, but then we kind of rip off the end of how this is winding down. And what you told me about how you felt and understanding that you are to deal with your end of life and what happens after, it's for them to do. It really reminds me a story about someone dying when the last words, and I don't remember if there was a doula who was saying this to the actively dying person. It was one of the family members, but what they were literally saying, and the hearing is the last thing that goes, and what they were literally saying is, we're here with you, and the only work that you need to do is to go through your dying, and we are going to be okay. We will be able to deal with your death, so your only thing to focus right now is your dying. And I felt this is so beautiful. And this gives so much power to people who are going through this, to just focus on what's happening with them rather than keep bubbling with these thoughts around of what's going to happen after. And that sounds a lot of what you're describing, of just like, it's my day, can I please focus on what's happening?
Yeah, like I'm using all the energy that I have just to get through the next. I mean, I don't even know what my death is going to be like, but when I imagine it, you know, I think that, like you said, it would be great just to hear the people that I love in my ears telling me that it's okay. We're gonna be fine. We're fine without you. Do whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? Go wherever you want to go. Go on your little adventure that you call death. You know, like do whatever. Like do whatever you want to do. Because we're cool. We're cool with you dying, and we're gonna be cool with it in 10 years. And
yeah, it seems that it's important for them to know also that this is what you really would want to hear in your last moment.
It would be nice.
Something to embark with, you know.
I'll leave them a note with a little PS saying, "Just tell me you're gonna be okay." You know, like
tell me you're okay. I'm curious, like I know that, I mean, I do think about my death often, but still, like I mostly think about my life, and there are certain things roaming around my mind constantly, different stuff, yeah, right, I don't know, relationships, and this, and that, and where to live, and I'm curious if things that have been roaming around your head has changed ever since you understood that you're approaching the end of life, and there's just around a year left. Is this something that's bubbling in your head changed in a way, or you continue to do the same?
Yeah, like when we were talking about relationships earlier, and that's what you know it comes down to. Like that's what's the most important thing about living is your relationship with yourself, your acceptance of your journey, and your relationship with the people that you share that unconditional love with. And it also helps you kind of helps me weed out the people that I thought were important in my life. And they're not. They're like, you know, ex-boyfriends or whatever, like that have hurt me, like thanks for the learning experience. I'm gonna take that with me to my next life and maybe use it there. You know, like, but for now I'm just gonna, you're not just not important to me anymore. And I think that the one word that I've noticed comes up probably 20 times a day is time. It just in so many different contexts, in so many different perspectives. You know, it's time.
How did your relationship with time changed ever since you've been diagnosed and knew that you have limited time that you know of?
Okay, if it is a relationship with time that I'm dealing with, father time, I guess. I guess it's lately it's turned into like an unconditional love, like with any other relationship that's important. But time, I think, is some days I think time is irrelevant. Other days I think time is on my side. Other days I'm like, you know, like good timing, bad timing.
So it didn't really change.
It's just it shifts, but it's a constant theme of like almost every day of my life for the last couple of months has been time.
So this is something that's been coming up more often than anything else ever since you've been diagnosed.
Yeah, like every month it's like more. Like father time is like first he was stepping on my toes, and now he's like kicking me in the gut, you know. but only because he loves me.
So I know that there are some assumptions around people who are dying, and people usually rely on these assumptions while they relate to them. So I do want to check some of them with you. And the first assumption is, and we did talk about it a little bit, but the first assumption is dying people don't want to talk about their death.
Oh, bullshit. Bullshit. Dying people don't want to talk about their death. Like, they're dying. Like, it's the most significant life event in their whole existence. You know what I mean? Like, of course they want to talk about it. It's a milestone, or it's a, yeah, it's...
Yeah, I love the answer, but it's bullshit. Of course I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And then the second assumption is that there is or should be a special way to treat dying people. Like, we don't really know what that is, but there must be a way to deal with people who are dying, and is there?
No. I mean, I love being treated special, because you mean, like, the whole princess vibe. You know what I mean? Like, I like it, but at the same time, like, I'm not different because I'm dying. Like, I'm just getting there quicker. Or I have a guarantee that I'll be there quicker, actually. Then quicker than who? I don't know. Quicker. See what it...
I really like what you just said, that I'm not different because I'm dying. And I think the problem is that when people hear about someone dying, they stop seeing the person, they see the dying person. And then you don't really get to experience a human-to-human connection, because the dying comes in between.
Yeah, like, if I was a jerk before to you, like, I'm still going to be a jerk to you probably because I don't like you. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I don't want anyone, like, to look at me just because I'm dying and be like, oh, like, I love you so much, you know what I mean? Like, you're such a great person. No, I was never a great person to you because I never liked you, or something. You know what I mean? Like don't personify, like, this goodness about me that's not there.
And also, I think that a lot comes up, I think, because people don't have the skills and the language to talk about death at all, and then talking about death with someone who's dying, this is like, and another assumption is like, I am afraid to trigger that person, I'm afraid to hurt that person, I'm afraid to say something stupid.
Or I don't want to see them cry, because a lot of people feel uncomfortable seeing me cry. You know?
They don't want to see you cry.
Right.
Yeah, well, I don't want to, like, hurt or see them cry or get emotional and stuff like this, and then so I better avoid the topic of death or avoid the connection with this person overall.
Right.
And I think this happens a lot of times. And again, it becomes not about you. It becomes about me. I'm uncomfortable. I don't know how you're going to react. I don't have the language. I don't know how this is going to go. So I'm just going to dance around the subject and I'm going to avoid the connection. And then from my experience working with my clients, I know that people who are dying often start experiencing isolation because people around them don't know how to be with them. Was this your story, your experience?
No. I did go into an isolation thing right after I found out, and it lasted maybe a week. A week for me to pull my head out of my ass, you know, and like just get back to living instead of dying. Like I said, I want to be present. I want to feel myself. Okay, this is weird. I want to feel myself pass from this life to the next.
There is a part of you that regrets that not enough of legacy is left. And part of me is thinking, if you're dying, and also sharing this with the world now, is part of your legacy. What do you want to teach the world with your death? Is there anything that you would want to teach the world with your death?
Different that I've already hit on. I don't I mean, I could sum it up, but it's everything that I've said. You know, it's some people are afraid of adventures, and I don't know how to help people like that are actually afraid to leave their house at nighttime. You mean like they're just screwed? You mean like when death comes knocking on their door, like they're not going to answer it? You know what I mean? Like because they're scared, or just I say that because I know someone really close to me that's like that. You know, she's afraid of everything, and so this whole adventure talk of mine makes absolutely no sense to her. The reason why I came to Thailand was because my daughter was living here, and she's like, just come to Thailand and just die here. Die with me. You know what I mean? And I was like, that sounds like a great place to die. And so that was my original reason for even coming to Thailand.
What's great about Pai to dying here for you? Why does this seems like a place for you to maybe die and choose this
Just
place?
because my daughter's here, I guess. I mean, she's like my best friend, and without her, I'm not sure if I would still be this advanced or enlightened in my way of thinking, because I've learned so much from her. Like,
yeah, the fact that you two came together to the death workshop to explore your mortality and her mortality is already mind-blowing. I've heard many people, including myself, being envious that you can go through something like this together and be so open and get into that space and talk about it and dig deeper. So inspiring and so like, and most of us were envious. It's like we also would want to have something like this in our lives and be able to go with our parents through a journey like this. And this is very, very beautiful. And yeah.
it's another thing, I think, because I'm not dying of old age. I mean, yeah, I'm getting older, you know.
How old are you?
I'm 52 years old.
I have a couple more questions. What surprised you in how people relate to you around your end of life, around your dying the most?
Can I say the person that surprised me, I guess, the most?
I guess.
My mom. The fact that she doesn't want to talk about it. I don't even know I have no idea how she feels about it, except that today, I just talked to her today, and when we talk, we don't really get along. We don't know how to talk to each other. So when I said something about not going back there, that I wanted to really like think about like setting my life, you mean here where I'm at in Thailand, you know, like just maybe I did come to Pai to die. I don't know. But when I had said that to my mom, she's like, "Ugh, I don't understand any of your death doula talk," is what she told me. I don't understand any of your death doula talk. And so she like was hanging up the phone on me, and I could hear her starting to cry. So I'm like, wow, she does think about it. Because
So the surprising part was to discover that she does think about it, but she can't get in the space to talk about it.
Yeah, she doesn't, and she doesn't want to try.
That's probably disappointing.
It is like I feel like I feel like I have so much to teach her, and she still wants to look at me like I'm some incompetent child. You know what I mean? Like that will never be good enough to whatever. I mean, I guess I'm not even good enough to die. I mean, like is how she feels, is how I think that she feels, because
why response is laughing to this. It's like I'm not even good enough to die.
Yeah,
how much weight this phrase has, and how painful that must be to experience that in your relationship with your mother.
And I don't think that she's worried too much about anyone else, like you mean, or me, including me. I mean, but I think that she's just. I don't even know. I don't want to assume that I know
Yeah,
how she's
yeah.
feeling, you know what I mean? Because
That's
that
true.
that
This
just
is
takes
her-
me right back to it's her journey. And if this is how she's dealing with it, obviously she has a lot to learn. And maybe if I can live, die, whatever, you know, by example, then maybe that's the only way that it'll get through to her, and it'll take my death for her to realize, like, wow, everything that she's been saying to me like her whole life, you know what I mean, like maybe it's valid.
Yeah, listening to you now, I think I've just realized, and I don't know what's that like, but I've just realized that you simultaneously dealing with your own dying, with your mother still alive, and with your kids being grown up. So it's like being in between with doing with both, which is not very mutual usually, because our parents go before us, and
Yeah.
this is like to deal with this end and also to deal with this end, and how much pressure and responsibility that might be to feel responsible for their experience. And once you let that go and say this is their journey to go on, then you can focus on what's happening for you.
Yeah. And I don't know, maybe she blames me for dying, because I mean it is the consequences of my own actions. I drank too much for years. For years. You know what I mean? Like I drank I feel like I drank more than an alcoholic. I mean, but obviously I was an alcoholic, so I mean, who knows how much I drank, but I know I drank a lot. Obviously. To give myself this much scarring on my liver. And I don't, maybe I feel like maybe she blames me because, you know, like, oh, because she loves to say I told you so. So, you know, she's just like, well, oh, God, you know, like, there you go again, just, you mean, making bad choices. And you mean, so what? I made bad choices. So what?
And at the same time, anger is part of the grieving journey.
Yeah.
We are grieving.
Yeah.
Anger needs to find spots to come out. And I do know that people who are overcoming death of their beloved ones often find themselves angry with them. Like, how the fuck you think it's okay to leave me in here?
Yeah.
I have to deal with all of this stuff. I'm angry that you're not here with me. I'm angry that you died, even though it's beyond my control, but I do hear that very often, that it comes out. It doesn't make much sense, and at the same time, it's there.
Yeah, it's weird because when my dad died, and he died of alcoholism, I was 26, and so I was the first one to see him. I went up there, you know, and the doctor was like, he's already passed. I'm like, I don't care. I want to see him dead. You know what I mean? Like, and I walked in there, almost didn't recognize him because all these tubes, and he was swollen and bruised, and from them trying to resuscitate him, I think. So I went in there and I shut his eyes, and this is weird, but what I remember is like this big, the whole room, it was like a 2 rooms, like classroom kind of size, and he was the only dead person in there, and there was a big window right there, and I was just like, I was angry and I wanted to push him out that window. Like,
What were you angry about?
I was angry that he looked so beat up. I was angry that they tried so hard to save him, that when he didn't want to be saved. I was angry that he left me right after I got divorced, and it's when I needed him, you know, like, and he made me promises, and he's like, I'm gonna quit drinking, we're gonna be roommates. I'm going to help you take care of the kids, you know what I mean? Like, we had big plans, you know, like, and then, I don't know, a month later, maybe he died. And, yeah, but I do remember feeling that anger, and it doesn't really make sense, but I guess it would be just the same as, like, a boyfriend leaving you, or, you know what I mean, like, that whole breakup thing, like I didn't even know it was bad. You know what I mean? And then there you go, leaving me, like.
So it's about leaving and like betraying in a way.
Maybe abandonment.
Abandonment.
I mean, that's a good issue to have, right?
So you mentioned now they were trying to save him without him wanting to be saved, and like I do want to ask you, because you also chose, as far as I understand, that you did have the option to transplant your liver, but you chose not to do.
I'm choosing not to, right?
So
I still have that option.
You still have that option.
But
you don't want to go with it.
I don't want to take that 20% chance that...
Yeah, most of the world is very pro-life oriented right now. The medicine is there to buy us time and to make us live longer, and it's kind of like cheered up if you're fighting for your life. And even with people who are going with very serious treatments that decrease the quality of life so much, like there's much encouragement going on. It's like, yeah, fight for your life, choose the pro-life approach.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Yeah, really. and then there is, if somebody doesn't want to do that and doesn't want to continue living like this or for other reasons, and to me it feels like there's not enough like pro-death approach is shamed. Yes. It's like, who are you to...
Oh, like you're just giving up, you're quitting?
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, yeah.
Yeah, so can you tell maybe a bit more about this?
I know that I had this conversation with my daughter, and I was like, I want you to know that I don't want to die. You know, I don't want to. It happened by my choices, whatever, but I don't want to die. I don't want to leave you. I don't, it's not something like that I would choose today if I could go back in time. You know, like, I know that there is no such thing as going back in time, and so I don't even like to think like that, like if I could go back in time, because I wouldn't really be who I am today, which I really like, you know, compared to who I was pre-dying, pre-death. This is a poem that my daughter wrote, and she just titled it, My Headphones. My headphones broke on Monday, a huge inconvenience. The silence is loud. It has my sanity screaming. The man's shop who sells headphones on Walking Street is closed. Does he know this is an emergency, that music is my medicine, that I sing and dance every morning to feel alive, that I can't drown out the hum of passive-aggressive messages without it? She was breaking up with her boyfriend at this time. I moved out of your place Tuesday. Not an easy decision, but I packed. You told me if I didn't live with you, you wouldn't have time for me. Like love was a race against the clock, my worth tied to your bed sheets. My devotion only apparent shackled to your bedside table. But I wanted to devote my life to you because it seemed like a worthy enough cause. I wanted this life and the next too, to unfold before my eyes like a flip book, each day making the next more beautiful. But even now, with no trace of me in your space, I hope I at least left a mark. My mom told me she has advanced cirrhosis of the liver on Wednesday. A lot of words to say that she's dying. I wish it was just broken headphones and heartbreak. I haven't told anyone except Katie, but it seems grim. She told me that she'll reap what she has sown, because that's what happens when you're too afraid to face reality. When the weight of the world is as heavy as the weight on your heart, when the only weight you can lift is the glass to your lips. But you tell me the glass is half full now, that now you'll try your best to stop drinking, that these last years will be the best because you finally figured it out, and that if not this life, then the next one you definitely have it. But what if I can't find you in the next one? If you're always one bus ahead of me at the bus stop? If you're the previous owner of the house I just bought and the only way we're connected is through the real estate agent? If you're the teacher whose class I never took because it's intro to geophysics? If you're the homeless person I walk past? If you're a friend of a friend I see but never introduce myself to? If you're the environmental advocate outside of the grocery store that I avoid eye contact with? Please don't leave. I'm not ready. I lost my sunglasses today. I left them somewhere in the rubble of my mind. I wish I had them to hide the tears in my eyes now, to hide the fears that creep through like weeds on sidewalk cracks. At least it was just sunglasses.
And I don't mind the sun stealing my vision, the wind ripping my eyes as I ride home on my bike. I really don't mind a missing pair of sunglasses. Every time I read that, I cry.
Thank you very much for sharing your life story and your dying story and being so open and so like bringing up so many things around what's that like to be at the end of life. And I'm very grateful, and I really believe that a lot of people are going to learn a lot from you sharing what you just shared.
I hope so.
If there's a message to anyone who's next to someone who's dying right now, what would you say if you would want to say something?
Keep it light. It's heavy enough, feeling that impending doom or whatever you want to call it, you know. It's heavy enough. Keep it light. Keep it light and make jokes about it. You know, I know some people, I mean, maybe they didn't like that before they were dying. They were all proper and like they just don't joke about it. But try them again when they are faced with death. And I think that most people will find that humor, laughter, happiness, joy, all of that, like, is probably the only medicine that we need. Even if we are taking other medicine that the doctor says we need. I've cut out a lot of my medicine and my antidepressants, everything I'm not taking anymore. And I feel fine. I feel good.
I think that's a great wrapping up line. Like, please laugh about death, and
Yes.
for someone who's dying, that's really like it's a lot of normalizing about that. And yeah, joke around, keep it light, and there is no right way, I guess, to do it, but
There's no right way to die, you know.
There should be space for humor around
Right.
people who are dying. I think it's another assumption that people who are dying needs it to be like sad and all. No, there should
Yeah.
be some humor and laughter, and I think there were quite a lot of laughter today when you were joking around. And hey, can I give you a hug?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Kapkunka.
Kabunka.